Go into low power mode. After over a year of work, collaboration with my manufacturer and a food scientist, I am very pleased to announce that the formulation of the protein bar is finally complete. I had a call with my manufacturer and they have approved a go-ahead of the first production run. This is fantastic news. Beta testing went very well. We got a very positive feedback with the people who were given samples of the protein bar. And now that we have essentially permission from the manufacturer to make the bars, we are full steam ahead until the packaging is complete. That is my next hurdle. Packaging kind of consists of two areas. You have the wrapper itself and the carton. The carton is the box at which you put the 12-pack of protein bars in. However, a very obvious point of packaging is that you need to know the dimensions of the product in which you're packaging. Now, on test day, we made bars that are roughly a square shape. They're not perfectly square, but for the sake of this video, they're essentially square. The dimensions are 2.25 inches wide, about 0.5 inches thick, and roughly 2.75 inches long. Now, for the last few weeks, I've been kind of going back and forth on what I would prefer the protein bar shape to be. Should I go this kind of square shape that I made on test day a few months ago, or should I go the more traditional kind of rectangular long bar that you would more see in other protein bars? Now, both have their pros and their cons. The long bar is more familiar of a protein bar shape, while on the other hand, it might be a tad ambiguous what the product is exactly if it were a square shape. Is it potentially a brownie? Is it some sort of other food? Another point though is that the square bar, because it's not as typical in the protein bar market, it definitely feels different. It feels unique. It feels relatively premium. It's something that you don't see very often, so it stands out in front of the crowd. Now, I truly did not know in my mind which route I wanted to go. Did I want to go the long bar or the square bar? So I actually put a poll on Facebook. I asked people, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a long rectangular bar, more typical to the other protein bars on the market? Or would you rather see something more unique, the square bar? And I was a little surprised on the results. About 150 people voted, and about 75% of them actually voted for Team Long, as I noted it on Facebook. However, the people in the comments who voted for Team Square were very passionate that they really did like the uniqueness of the square bar, and it's much more fun for them. This poll revealed that people actually do prefer the long bar. Now, do I really think that the influx of sales will really change if I go a long or square bar? No, I don't think so. And I don't think this decision is too consequential. However, it was important to me to get my followers' feedback. So I told them your feedback will be taken into consideration. And after those results showed themselves, I was gonna go the long and rectangular bar. However, there was a bit of a miscommunication between myself and my manufacturer. I was under the impression that they could do a long and rectangular bar, but after some email back and forth, I realized that they may not be able to because they have a machine which you call the extruder. And the extruder has what you call an extruder head. Every head is uniquely shaped. The extruder head dimensions that we use on test day was 2.25 inches wide and 0.5 inches thick. Now, I could theoretically purchase my own custom extruder head that would more support this long and rectangular bar, but surprisingly, they're near $10,000 a piece, and I'm not sure that's an expense I'm ready to take on just yet. The conclusion I'm trying to make is that we will be going the square bar route. We're going Team Square. So if you're watching this and you voted for Team Square on Facebook, you're going to be very happy. The square bar is what I sent to the beta testers and they all really enjoyed it. The square bar is what I've been advertising in videos and on my website. And so there should be really no surprise here. I'm not changing it up on anyone. I just am going a different way than the poll suggested. Now, the reason I bring that up, obviously to tell you that the shape of the bar will be a more square shape. But when I start working with the packaging vendor, they are requiring me to send them at least 12 samples of the protein bar to their headquarters because they need to custom make the box dimensions and the wrapper. And because I came home from test day with hundreds of square bars, if I were going the long bar route, I'd have to remold a bunch of them by hand. Actually, I did try to remold a bunch of them by hand. As you can see here, I did about 12-ish, and I'll admit they do look good, but I would be very worried that that's not the exact dimensions from the manufacturer. That's just me pushing with my hand. All that is to say, I already have the samples ready to send to the packaging vendor. I just need to make sure they don't melt on the way there, which I have to order warm weather packaging, gel packs, insulated packaging, the whole 9 yards. But a slight weight has been lifted off my shoulders knowing that the formulation is complete, beta testers did truly like it, and we have the shape of the bar finalized. So now it's really just on the packaging. We have to work on the wrapper and we have to work on the carton. Something I didn't even realize until I started this packaging venture was that each product's carton is actually specifically tailored and made to that product itself. So if you ever go to the store and you see a carton of whatever product it is, it could be bars, it could be other snack, they usually custom make that box to fit the product perfectly. So there's no empty white space or it's too tight. It's perfectly lined up. That's very intentional. And that's the process where I'm gonna have to do too, where all my bars, the 12 bars in each carton, are perfectly layered and so that there's no wasted space. And while I prepare to send these 12-ish samples to the packaging vendor, my designer and I are game planning what the wrapper first is going to look like. There are some pieces of information that need to be on the front of the wrapper no matter what. Obviously you have the logo, you have the nut-free status, something like made in a facility that doesn't process peanuts or tree nuts, potentially some other protein claim. Like right now the prototype has 16 grams of protein, so maybe it will say 16 grams of protein. I've had a lot of compliments on the fact that it doesn't have any artificial sweeteners, so potentially putting on there that there are no artificial sweeteners is a big win. But we want the front of the wrapper to be really poignant, really to the point. You really know what you're looking at. It's not overcrowded. It's for people with nut allergies, and that's the goal, but also for it to be fun and a brand that you can trust. The whole point of the company is to be safe, but also fun and enjoyable and humorous, and let's not take ourselves too seriously. So the only thing standing in the way of official release and now is the packaging. We got to get the wrapper printed and we got to get the box/carton printed as well. It's getting real. I'm super excited. I hope you all are super excited. Just feels like it's been a long journey that the finish line is almost there, and that's when the work is going to really begin. But thank you so much for watching. This has been episode 6 of Road to a Nut-Free launch, and that launch, ladies and gentlemen, is getting pretty close. So thanks for watching. See you soon.
Your face is gonna be all dirty.